Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today on the Black Financial Channel, we're going to talk about a guy who basically took a picture of himself in a bathtub full of money right in the middle of what prosecutors are alleging was a pretty hefty federal crime. We're going to talk about just things you do and don't want to do with money and some of the mistakes that I see in this situation. So get comfortable, buckle up a seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Good morning. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day under the B1 condition. B1 means we are Black first. Black first means we put our community at the top of our priority list. Black first means we take care of our kids. Black first means we educate our family members on economics. If you agree with this philosophy, if that's the direction that you and your family want to go, then put a B1 in the chat. It's very important that we get our economics together and understand how this money thing works. So I want to say good morning to Jerry Easley from Los Angeles. Shout out the city you're from. I see Philip Branch. Well wishes to you too. Dion Rice from Augusta, Georgia. I'm actually in Atlanta for just one day. So shout out to Georgia. All goods. What's going on? Grand rising to you too. Luciland 1. Good to see you. Let's see. Pamela Everett. Is it Pamela Westbrook? Reed Gunn, Hisham Allah from Compton. Compton, I always got to do that. Black Native, Palm Springs, California. Luciland from Tampa. Regina Harris, Pamela, I see you. Tiffany Mitchell, good morning. Good morning. Cynthia Newman from San Antonio. Good morning. All right, so let's hop into this conversation. This is something that I saw and I said, I really want to talk to my people about this a little bit so we can kind of understand things about money. As you guys know, my background's money. That's one of my PhDs, and I've been teaching college students about money for 20-something years now. I finished my doctorate 20 years ago, and I never, the world never ceases to amaze and educate all of us when it comes to the ways money can liberate you or the way money can enslave you. Money can get you out of jail, but money can also put you in jail. Money can make your life less stressful, but it can also create more stress than you've ever imagined. So how do you know the difference? How do you know the difference between whether or not money is a good thing or a bad thing? That's why one of the reasons I think that you have people out here that just hate money, don't want to talk about money, don't believe in discussing money, is because they've seen what our financial therapists in the Black Business School refer to as financial trauma. You guys know we have the first ever Black financial therapy department in the Black Business School, and we talk about financial trauma on a regular basis with some of the leading Black therapists. And one of the things about financial trauma is it can distort the way you view money. Give me a yes if you know what I'm talking about. You know people that either are extremely money hungry or they just hate money. They don't want to talk about it at all. They never, like, give me a yes if you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen this, people will go to one extreme or the other. In a way, it's a little bit like making love, like making love, getting in a bed with another person. It can be either a wonderful experience or it can be a traumatic experience, right? It can either be the best time of your life or the worst time of your life. And how does that happen? Well, it depends on the conditions under which that thing occurs, right? So money is very powerful. Money is something that has that ability to transform your life in a good direction or bad direction. So let me jump into the topic for today, that's sort of bringing up the money lesson. One of the topics I wrote about in my dissertation was financial psychology, and that is the mindset behind how you view money. And last night, my therapist wife and I talked about this show. Anybody know who that is? Tell me if you know who that is, if you can identify this character on the screen. This is a character named Franklin Saint. Franklin Saint is the main character in a show called Snowfall. And me and my wife watched every single season of Snowfall, and we did a deep dive analysis on Snowfall, the psychology behind it, everything else on our Pillow Talk last night, which was on this channel on Dr. Boyce TV. And I said, after we got done, I said, oh, I get it. This is a financial show because you saw Franklin Saint was a guy whose ambition for money drove him to become one of the biggest kingpins in Los Angeles. I think his story was modeled after Freeway Ricky Ross, who's a mutual friend of both me and my wife. I don't know if they took his story or what, but either way, though, Franklin Saint, you saw the money ultimately destroyed him. It destroyed his health. It destroyed his relationships. and he ended up with no money at all. He ended up worse off with money than he was without money. We broke that down last night on Dr. Boyce TV, so feel free to take a look at that. This podcast is also on Spotify. If you go to Spotify, search for my name on Spotify, you'll find the Dr. Boyce breakdown. You can listen to it in your car. All right, now this story, it involves a guy named Gary Harmon. Gary Harmon is the guy right here who was pictured taking a picture in his bathtub with the bathtub being full of money. Now, what is interesting about this picture to me is that Mr. Harmon at that time was in the middle of, shall we say, he was in the middle of some shiat. He was in the middle of some shiat from the IRS. The IRS was prosecuting at the time his brother Larry. His brother Larry had been accused of stealing, of being accused of being involved in a $311 million scheme, money laundering scheme involving crypto. Now, here's the thing. One of the things that I think that we want to think about is whether or not it actually makes sense to take a picture of yourself in a bathtub full of money when the feds are watching, because you know the feds are always watching. And according to the allegations, the feds say that the reason Gary was able to take a picture in a bathtub full of money was because he was able to use one of the crypto keys to break into his brother's account while his brother was in the middle of a major trial involving federal authorities and the IRS. His brother was, he pleaded guilty. His brother Larry is now facing sentencing. And so what really fascinated me about this story, it made me almost sad, is that number one, you have this brother, your brother's facing this major financial crime. He's going to get, 20, 30 years in prison, only God knows how much, because they put people in prison longer for stealing money than they put them in prison for actually killing somebody, right? So ultimately, you've got this sibling who is going through this crazy situation with this federal crime, and you just decide that you want to go in there and jack his paper, right? Which is okay, that's fine, whatever, right? You're using the crypto keys. But then you draw attention to yourself by taking a picture of yourself in a bathtub full of money. What's the point? You didn't have enough water in the house to wash your ass? Dollar bills have germs in them. Why would you take a bath with dollar bills instead of using soap and water? I don't know. What do y'all think? Do you think that it makes sense for a man who easily could have accessed soap and water to wash his ass to use dollar bills instead? Dollar bills are not the cleanest things in the world. So obviously, he wasn't using the money to truly try to get clean. He was using the money to make himself look dirty. He was using that money in that picture to flex for Instagram, right? And you've seen this, right? I don't know if anybody ever see there was a rapper who got convicted because he robbed somebody, and he put a picture of the robbery or something on Instagram to show people that he'd robbed this other rapper, and the feds were able to track a serial number on the Louis Vuitton bag or something and go lock him up. Now, here's the thing. I'm not an advocate at all for committing crime. I'm not an advocate at all for breaking the law. I'm not an advocate at all for things like money laundering. Also, I understand the government, they're a bunch of gangsters. Sometimes something that is perfectly legal in one era is illegal in the next. One person who's seen as completely innocent by one might be seen guilty by the other. We know the federal authorities are just as corrupt as some of these criminals. However, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that if you're going to commit the crime, why would you go and brag about it? Why would you go tell the world what you just did? Why do you have rappers that will go kill somebody and then rap about who they killed on the album? That's just immaturity and ego. Again, if you're going to be a criminal, at least be cool enough and smart enough to know that you probably shouldn't brag to anybody about what you did. In fact, my father's been a cop for a long time, and he told me that there were a whole lot of guys that they caught committing crimes because they would commit the crime, and then 3-4 years later they would fall in love and tell some lady, like on a pillow confession, like, well, 5 years ago I did some dirt and I shot somebody and he died and I feel guilty about it. And then as soon as the girl catches him with another lady, she runs to the cops and says he confessed to me that he killed this person. I told my wife, I said, baby, I love you, but if I ever kill somebody, you will never know. I will never tell you nothing. I ain't telling nobody nothing. That's going to be between me, myself, and Boyce, and I will carry that secret to the grave. So the point of the matter is that when you're talking about money, one of the things that's really funny, I had a billionaire on here named Michael Roberts. Michael Roberts is an extraordinary guy. He's a good brother. I went to Ghana with Michael and I got to know him in Ghana. He's come to the All Black National Convention, which, by the way, is going to be October 20th in Atlanta. So go to allblacknationalconvention.com if you want to hang out with intelligent Black people. It's a really great conference. We've been doing it for almost a decade now. Anyway, so Michael Roberts came on the show, right? And we were talking about money and what do rich people do that's different from everybody else? Because a lot of it's mindset. Everybody makes you think it's just luck. No, it ain't just luck. Because if you're stupid, if you get a bunch of money, you're gonna lose your money anyway. So it ain't just luck, it's mindset. Anyway, Michael Roberts said something that was interesting that stuck with me. He said, rich people are loud and wealthy people whisper. He said, rich people are loud and wealthy people whisper. You have the rich people who love to make everybody know that they rich. I'm rich, bitch. Look at me. Look at how much money I got. I'm flossing. I'm shining. And you out here just showing off and showing everything you got. Next thing you know, you got these rappers, poor rappers, these guys in Atlanta that were rapping and telling everybody how much they had and what they had going on and spitting their business out to the world. Now, they're facing all these crazy federal charges, and it's kind of sad to watch, honestly. But then you have wealthy people. Anybody ever heard of the Rothschilds? Give me a yes if you've ever heard of the Rothschild family. Give me a yes if you've ever heard of the Rothschild family. I'm going to Google them. Hit the thumbs up button, by the way. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. You're watching drboystv.com and the Black Financial Channel, and we are on Spotify. If you look up my name, Boyce Watkins, on Spotify, you'll find me there. Also, we actually have a movie coming out called B1 the Movie. We have Boyce Watkins Films, and we partnered with Rick Mathis, a great director out of Atlanta, to make B1 the Movie. The movie is good. When I tell you that it's good, I mean, it is so good. If you want to see some of the clips, just go to my Instagram, The Real Boyce Watkins. You can check it out. But it's going to come out this summer. And y'all, we have our own movie industry. We are making our own films. This film will be seen by millions of people. We already have the infrastructure in place. We are developing a Black-owned movie industry. We would love your participation. We promise you we will deliver quality to you. So B1 the Movie comes out this summer, so feel free to take a look at that. Also in the Black Business School, for those of you that want to get certified in real estate. If you're a beginner, you don't know what's going on, we have a new real estate certification program in the Black Business School. Just go to boycewatkins.com. I put the links from the Black Business School there, but we have a large faculty of people that serve you in all different areas. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com. All right, so let me look. Let's Google this, right? So let's say who are the Rothschilds? Okay. I just literally typed who are the Roe, and then the Rothschilds like automatically filled in. So let me tell you who the Rothschild family is. Let's see. It says the let me type. Let's see. Instead of saying who are the Rothschilds, let's type Rothschilds money. There's an estimate on Investopedia that the Rothschilds control more than $2 trillion in assets. $2 trillion. And then if you look in Google and says, how did they get their money? They started getting their money in 1887. The French and British Rothschild banking houses loaned money to and invested in the De Beers diamond mines in South Africa, becoming its largest shareholders. So they get their money. They have $2 trillion in assets they control, and they started getting their money in Africa. So congratulations, Black people. Your community is responsible for creating one of the wealthiest families in Europe. The Rothschilds got their money by investing in De Beers. De Beers owns a big chunk of all the diamond mining in South Africa. That money has gone into this Rothschild family. Now I want to ask y'all another question. Give me a yes or no on this. If I put a picture of a bunch of people in a lineup and I said, which one is the Rothschild? Which person is the Rothschild? Would you be able to identify which person was the Rothschild? Have you ever in your life seen a Rothschild? Do you know what a Rothschild looks like? Are the Rothschilds making rap videos and saying, hey, Biatch, I got 2 trillion in assets, 2 trillion in growing? Could you identify a Rothschild if you saw one in a picture? Do you know what Rothschild? Do you know what any of the Rothschild? I mean, there's a bunch of them. They're like a gang. They're like a big economic gang. Can anybody identify any of the Rothschilds anywhere? Give me a yes or no. Okay, Chef Dilly says I could. Cynthia says no. Dre Life says no. Okay, I saw a yep from Chef Dilly. Okay, Salja says no. Probably not, says Underground. I would just tell you the truth. I don't even know what they look like. I don't know what any of the Rothschilds look like. And at the very least, I think you will agree with me that the Rothschilds don't exactly go around bragging about how much money they have. You don't really see them in the Forbes list. You don't see them out, uh, trying to become socialites like a Kardashian or something. You don't see them, running around trying to do things to draw attention to themselves. If they do charity, they do it quietly. Well, why do you think they do that? Well, they do that because they know that big money brings big attention. When I taught finance in China, there was a saying one of my students shared with me that says, "The fattest pig always gets slaughtered. The fattest pig always gets slaughtered." And what that means is that if you are the person who is running around showing off, bragging, or in the case of this guy here, taking pictures of yourself in a bathtub full of money, taunting the feds, you're probably gonna go down. And the reason you're gonna go down is because now you've made yourself into this delicious catch. You first of all, you've pissed off your adversary. You kind of did what Dylan Brooks did with LeBron James with the Lakers. Did anybody know about that? Anybody follow basketball at all? There's a young guy, a young dummy named Dylan Brooks, plays for the Memphis Grizzlies, who made the mistake of calling LeBron James an old man. And he literally made LeBron James 25 years younger in one game. Like LeBron literally became a 19-year-old again in the next game, and literally like just torched his ass in the next game because he set the beast on fire. Michael Jordan used to look for you to say anything at all that he can misinterpret into a diss, so that he would have fuel to absolutely destroy you in the next game. So a lot of times, if you think about scenarios like you think about movies like American Gangster, if you remember, there was a scene where Frank Lucas went to a boxing match. You might remember that, where there was a fur coat scene where he went to a boxing match, and his woman, gave him this fancy fur coat. She gave him a fur coat with a fur hat so he could look like a pimp. She was like, "Okay, you a big shot, so I want you to look like a big shot." So he went to a Muhammad Ali Joe Frazier fight, if I'm not mistaken, in a big fur pimp hat and a big fur pimp coat, and he went to this fight with this stuff on, and everybody was looking at him. The feds were there. They started taking pictures of him. He was livid. This is what he looked like. This is Denzel, but this is the original Frank Lucas, and he immediately was under the radar of the feds. That's what put him on the map with the feds. They were like, "Okay, who is this guy with all that's shining so hard? Who's this guy that's got the big furry hat and the big furry coat? You only would dress like that if you are a peacock. Peacocks like to show you what they got, and so peacocks get shot." Right? The smart people, the ones that know how to protect their wealth, are the ones who lay low, the ones who don't brag about how much money they have. So when I think about the guy in that bathtub that was full of money, and he took this picture right as his brother's facing federal charges for money laundering, and he took the crypto out of his brother's account using these secret keys, and then he takes his picture flexing for the gram in a bath full of money. That pretty much is you signing your death certificate, because at that point you've made it another man's goal to take you down. That's what you've done. And I'm gonna tell you, you see people online that will talk about wealth, and they I guess they talk about wealth and economics a little, kind of like I guess I do. And I don't know what their backgrounds or credentials are. I speak as a finance PhD. This is what my doctorate's in. And you'll see people that will show you the Lamborghini. They love to show you the private jet. They love to show you the fancy house. They love to show you all the jewels and everything else, because they know that that's going to suck you in, especially if you're a young man who ain't never had nothing, who ain't never done nothing. That'll suck you in because you like the big, shiny, flashy shit. That's what rappers do. Look at me. Look at what I got. Look at how much I'm shining. And the thing I want to warn you about with that is that if that's your mentality, then you don't understand something fundamentally important about money. Money, having lots of money, ultimately makes you a target, because human beings want resources, and when they see how much you got, how much you flossing and shining, and I know people may not even use the word flossing no more, but you know what I'm talking about. How much you are showing off what you have, and you're flexing for the gram and everything else. People are gonna come after you. Somebody might come try to rob you. People might come try to sue you. People are going to bring you sob stories and try to get your money that way. You're going to attract every gold digger within a 100-mile radius. There are gold diggers. I didn't know this. I didn't know gold digging was such an elaborate science. But a lady schooled me on the game. She explained to me that she works with a group of women who would study professional athletes who had big contracts and study what they like, study what they like to talk about, what they like to drink, what kind of women they like, and they would position themselves like defensive backs on the football field who are in position to make an interception. They'll position themselves in the club just so they can intercept you and get your attention and eventually find some way to get in your pocket in a sneaky way. They might drug you. Remember Cardi B? Cardi B gave you the game. Cardi B told you. She publicly told everyone that she used to work with women that would drug men, steal their money, and maybe get them raped by a tranny. Like, this is real. This is real stuff, right? So who are they going to pick? Are they going to pick the guy who is the mature man, who's the quiet millionaire, who ain't even really in the club looking for hoes anyway, who's not out here showing off how much he's got, who's just being humble, who looks like a square, right? Looks like a square. Everybody says, oh, it's bad to look like a square. I want to be so square that I literally want to fit into a geometry book. I'm okay with being square because I love who I am. I don't need to show off and flex in order for you to think I'm something that I'm not. That's not of interest to me. So to me, so are they going to pick the square and say, oh, let's go scam on this square? This guy who's living a quiet life, who's working diligently toward his goals, who's not messing with nobody, who's not out here trying to do whatever, or are they going to go after the guy who's loud and shows off what he's got and wants everybody to know that he's got money because ultimately deep down he's not secure enough in who he is. He doesn't feel like who he is enough, so he needs all this shiny stuff to make you think that he is somebody, right? So what I would say to you is, you should learn from these stories, man. You should learn from these stories. This poor guy, he and his brother are going to both do a lot of time in prison. I'm sure there was a time where their families were very proud of how much money they made. Sam Bankman-Fried was at one point the pride of his family. Now he's the disgrace of his family. And this, in my view, can be connected to, not that I'm finger wagging here, I'm just giving you my honest perspective. It can come from a little bit of greed, right? Sometimes if you go back even on Snowfall, before Franklin Saint went down as the alcoholic junkie that he became at the end, he had a few $1 million in the bank. He was doing very well, but instead of having a few million in the bank, he wanted to have 100 million in the bank, and that led to his downfall. So greed is a curse. If you ever find yourself infected with the virus of greed, you better go take an antidote. You better go do something to get that out of your system. Greed will destroy you. Money will elevate you, but greed will destroy you. If you look at this guy taking pictures in his bathtub full of money, why you didn't have to do that. You could have just took the money, quietly left the country, and went on and started a new life. But instead, you flexing for the gram. You go back to Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas did not have to wear the fur pimp hat and the fur pimp coat. Why? You're already a successful gangster. You already control all the drug trade in all of Harlem. Why do you have to brag about it? And this is something that I know isn't very popular because we have a loud, audacious culture. We have certain elements of our culture that, and not just black, white people do it too, but I'm talking about black people because this is a black channel. We have certain people that really think that you gotta like rub it in people's faces and you gotta go out here and tell everybody what you did and how great you are and everything else. I don't believe that. I think that self-love and self-esteem means that you can quietly go work away, build your wealth, build your power, and not have anybody know that you're involved. Like a guy was on, I think it was a guy that was on that really great podcast called $1 million worth of game or something like that. The one guy Gilly, I met him. He honestly, he came off as a little loud and he's not my type of guy. He's a little loud and I met him somewhere and I was like, dude, man, come on. Like, you ain't got to be the loudest guy in the room. But I like the podcast because I like the idea of older black men who've gone through some things, warning young black men about the dangers of getting sucked into the culture. That's what I like about that podcast. I don't dislike Gilly. I'm just saying our personalities are not the same. The other guy, I think he's cool. I don't watch the podcast, to be honest with you, but what I've seen, I like that, right? We need more spaces like that so that you have OGs that can tell young guys like, look, just chill out, man. Like get your self-esteem intact because what you don't understand is that I run around, I go around the country and I see black people that are at different levels of economic success. Some are struggling, just getting started. Some are really doing well. Last night when I was in Atlanta, I was eating dinner and a guy reached out. He said, "Hey, Dr. Boyce." And I talked to this brother. This brother was a pilot with Delta Airlines, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year with a beautiful wife and children and raising his family. His 4-year-old son was learning how to fly airplanes. So he and I talked for over an hour because I'm learning how to fly airplanes too. And I thought it was awesome. While we're talking, another person comes up. "Hey, Dr. Boyce." It's a doctor with his wife. They opened a clinic in Atlanta. I wish I had their names in front of me because I should probably shout them out because maybe I can give business to their clinic. Let me see if I can find the text because I was so excited. I love meeting intelligent black people. Dr. Scott Metcalf, that's his name. And I met him and his wife, and I'm introduced him to my wife, and I was excited. See, what you don't understand is that I know y'all see the bright, shiny Negroes on TV. That's what white people put in front of you. They parade that stuff. They want you thinking that this is how black people behave. Uh-uh. The real movers and shakers in the black community, a lot of them you'll never see on TV because these are not black people that they really want to put on TV. These are not black people that are going to get as much attention as the rapper who's rapping about her WAP or the other rapper who's rapping about how many black people he killed that week, right? These are black people that are just building quietly. The doctors had their own business. They're building wealth with that. The pilot was making tons of money as an airplane pilot, and he was planning to start his own business as well. These are the people that are doing it, and a lot of you are doing the same thing. And I want to applaud you. I want to applaud you and let you know I see you. Right? I see you. I know the world may not see you. White folks ain't never gonna see you. They don't want to see you, but they don't need to see you. Why you need them to see you anyway? Why you care if they see you or not? I don't care if they see me. I know I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. I know what I'm doing. I know what I've done. I know what I've accomplished. I don't need CNN or MSNBC or ABC or I don't need any of those people. I don't want Hollywood to see me. That is not of interest to me, right? I just want to see myself. And then I want you to see me because you matter to me. I want my family to see me. I want to be seen as an asset. Okay. So anyway, do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. I got one more point I want to make about crypto and then we'll move on. Also, don't forget that if you want to, I have a training I put together called How to Make Money Without Working. It's all about stock options and how to generate passive income selling stock options. You can go to boycewatkins.com if you want to take a look. Feel free to go take a look at that. Also, I have a new book out. You guys may or may not know. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. It is a bestseller on Amazon. I know you're going to love it. A lot of the reviews are coming in. They're 4.9 stars out of 5. And I know this book is going to change your life. So I'm also going to do a 2-day training on this book in Dallas on the 19th of May. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com if you'd like to fly down to Dallas and spend a couple of days with me. And we'll go through the 10 Commandments slowly but surely over a couple of days. You also get to network with other intelligent black people you can build businesses with, people you can have relationships with, people that you can become friends with, people that you can grow with. Okay, so feel free to come to Dallas on May 19th. All right, just go to boycewatkins.com. All right, last point I want to make about this is about crypto. Crypto is a great industry to invest in the sense that I have 7% of my portfolio in crypto, approximately, give or take 1 or 2%. Now, I believe in crypto. I believe crypto is going to evolve long-term in a positive way. What I want you to also understand, though, is just like with this case that I brought up here, where this guy and his brother are both being convicted on or being charged with things related to money laundering. Crypto is a haven for money launderers. Crypto is a magnet for dirty money. Crypto draws in a lot of good people, regular people like you and I, but it also draws in a lot of gangsters and drug cartels and people that really want to skirt the law. So one of the things you want to be careful with the crypto space is that there are these crypto whales and these hidden forces that manipulate the crypto industry, which can make it a dangerous place to invest. I think that's going to change. I think that there's going to be more regulation. It's going to clean itself up over time. I think it's worth investing in, but you should be aware that crypto is not as clean as investing in places like the stock market. Don't get me wrong. Stock market ain't perfect. We know that there's problems there, but there's a lot more enforcement and a lot more observership, if you will, of what's happening in that particular space. Okay. So anyway, guys, that's my 2 cents for today. Rashad said your wife is trying to sleep. Yeah, how do you know that's my wife back there? For all you know, I could be kicking it with my side chick. Anyway, no, that is my wife in the background, but her head is down, so you cannot see her. However, you might see an arm pop out. So that's just, that's the reality of it all. Now I'm a little bit embarrassed, but whatever. Anyway, all right. So it was great to see you guys. God bless you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And you're right. I got to go. My wife and I are headed to a funeral for my uncle. His name was John Eberhardt. And John was a firefighter for many years and a great man and a man that I loved and respected. So I'm going to go and take a look at my uncle for the last time and wish him well and thank him for 40 years of. I've known him for 40 years. He married my aunt Valeria, and Uncle John always had a smile. He was a big fan of the Atlanta Falcons, and he was a real good brother. So I came down to Atlanta to say goodbye to him. And thank you for your condolences. All goods. I appreciate that. And also God bless all of you because we've talked about things on this channel related to Black health. And I mentioned the other day the 4 horsemen of death in the Black community. The 4 horsemen of death are cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, and diabetes. And so if I were you, I would to avoid the 4 horsemen of death, you got to take your meds, MEDS. That stands for keep your mental health in check. Exercise. You got to exercise. Intelligent Black people should want to exercise. Just do a little bit. You ain't got to do a lot. And then diet. We got to think about diet. All the food is killing you for sure. And then you got to think about sleep. Don't let anybody make you think that you're a sucker or that you're a fool for sleeping. Sleep is the best thing to do because sleep is how your body heals. That's what keeps you alive. So don't deprive yourself of sleep, especially not for some stupid job. I want you to live long because health is more important than wealth. If you lose your health, you're going to lose all your wealth anyway because you're going to be paying money to get your health back. So take care of both of those things if you want to be a good investor. All right, guys, I hope that that's helpful to you and God bless you. So don't forget this podcast is on Spotify. Look up Boyce Watkins or the Dr. Boyce Breakdown on Spotify. Also, the All Black National Convention is October 20th in Atlanta. Just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. B1, the movie directed by Rick Mathis, is coming out this summer. It's a partnership with Boyce Watkins Films. The movie's off the chain. It is so good. Riza Islam and Nuri Muhammad and Vicky Dillard and all these great people are in the film. Also, if you want to get started in the real estate training or take a look at the training on how to make money without working, just go to BoyceWatkins.com. So God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening. I'll check in with you guys again soon. Peace.